بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. Respected brothers and elders, mothers and sisters and dear listeners in Islam, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created this human being, He has two parts of it. One is the body, the flesh and the bones of this human being, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created from the soil, from the dirt, from this earth. There's a second portion which runs this human being, and that is linked to the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that has come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is known as the ruh. They came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and they asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam with regards to three questions to find out if he is the Nabi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, can you give us some information with regards to the ruh? And the second question they asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was with regards to the Ashab-e-Kahf, the sleepers in the cave. And the third question they asked Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was with regards to Dhul Qarnayn. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told them he'll give them the answer, thinking that wahi will come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam did not say insha'Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala delayed the revelation on Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam for a few days, and then the revelation came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. They came to ask you with regards to the soul, the ruh. The ruh is from the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this body is the flesh, the bones, the blood. But behind this, what makes the eyes see? It is the ruh. And the ruh is connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because when a person dies, his soul is taken out of him. When his soul is taken out, the eyes are there, but the eyes cannot see. The ears are there, but the ears cannot hear. The hands are there, but the hands cannot move. The legs are there. Just a few seconds ago, probably the person was moving. His heart was beating. But now the ruh is taken out. When the ruh is taken out, the body does not exist. The ulama also state that there are two enemies of this human being. One is the enemy of shaitan. Shaitan is making a constant effort. But what shaitan? There is another particle which is part of this human being, which is known as his nafs. This nafs, which is the carnal desire, the inside feeling of this human being, it's known as his nafs. And this nafs is linked to every person. Every person has a nafs. And this nafs has a desire and a wish inside it. And the Quran speaks about this in detail. And the Quran teaches us as human beings that every single person has a nafs. And this nafs is of three different categories. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about this in the Quran. The lowest category of this nafs is known as the nafs ammara. The nafs ammara. This is a nafs which is commanding and forcing a person to go towards the disobedience of Allah. Obviously, it's linked with the person's emotion himself, his own feeling, and the instigation from the side of shaitan. Because shaitan is also whispering to him, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس. We have this whispering of shaitan to the inner soul to the nafs and the carnal desires of this human being, which is commanding this human being and persisting and forcing this human being to go towards the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about this in Surah Yusuf, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about this incident of Yusuf alayhi salam and how Zulaykha tried to seduce Yusuf alayhi salam. And Yusuf alayhi salam was protected, and he was that Nabi of Allah that was put in jail because of the seduction of this woman. And when he came out of the jail, Yusuf alayhi salam said, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ إِلَّا مَا رَحِمَ رَبِّي. No person can state that his nafs is pure. No person can state his nafs is free. My nafs is pure, it's free, it will not be beguiled and go into the wrong direction. No person can make this statement. Because the quality of this nafs, if it is of the lower stage, then normally this nafs will command this person towards the disobedience of Allah. إِلَّا مَا رَحِمَ رَبِّي, besides whom Allah has mercy on them. If Allah has mercy on that soul, Allah protects that soul, and the nafs is forcing him, and shaitan is also whispering, then Allah protects him. But normally, when all of these are going in the same direction, this nafs is heading towards evil. There's a second nafs which the Quran speaks about, and this is known as, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about it, nafs lawwama. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks of it in Surah Qiyamah. لا أقسم بيوم القيامة ولا أقسم بالنفس اللوامة. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes an oath and takes a qasam on this portion and the second stage of this nafs, which is known as nafs lawwama. It's known as nafs lawwama because it is a nafs, what we will say is blameworthy. This quality and the situation of the nafs is such, and it is the natural, or we'll say the normal nafs of a person on a regular basis. The normal human being, the normal insan, it's the same nafs. Some mufassirin state that this is the same nafs, but it has three different stages. When the shaitan and the person's insight is going towards evil, it is known as nafs ammara. But on a general stage, this is the regular nafs of this human being, where it is blameworthy, meaning it is in such a condition where the person has different feelings. That's why a human being has these emotions. This human being has different feelings. Sometimes a human being feels high, sometimes a human being feels low. I don't mean when they're on drugs, I mean when the person is feeling, he feels, positive. He feels positive in life. He feels like doing things. And sometimes he does not feel like doing things. He feels like a bit lethargic. He feels a bit lazy of doing things. All this nafs have different moods. Sometimes he's in a happy mood. Sometimes everything is joyous and everything is really nice. And on the same time, you get the same nafs. A person is feeling sad. He's feeling depressed. He's feeling low. This is the quality of this nafs that this person has, which is his inside feeling, the nafs itself that is taking him in different conditions. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about the third level of this nafs. This is the inner feeling of this human being, the carnal desire of this human being, the nafs of this human being, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks of in Surah Fajr. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes mention, Ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutma'innah, irji'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyah, فَادْخُلِي فِي عِبَادِي وَادْخُلِي جَنَّتِي. So this verse of the Quran, when it was revealed to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he mentioned to Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala an, that there is a quality of the nafs known as mutma'inna. Mutma'inna means it is contented, it is in comfort, it is at ease. And this is such a nafs that at every moment this nafs is in the 100% obedience of Allah. This nafs is not getting affected with things around them. This nafs is fully, perfectly in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anh said, what a beautiful soul, what a beautiful nafs, what a beautiful self will it be for a person to have a nafs mutma'inna. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anh, that, oh Abu Bakr, when your soul will be coming out and you're leaving this world, the angels will be on the side. And the angels will be reciting this verse with regards to your soul, O Abu Bakr. And the angels will be saying, O Abu Bakr, your soul and your nafs that is coming out, this is a nafs mutma'inna. Irji'i ila rabbik. And Allah uses a beautiful word here in the Quran. He says, return back. Return back, because we have come from there. We have come from Jannah. We have come from Jannah. If someone comes from a place, we say, go back to that place. He has come from Jannah. The soul actually has come from Jannah. And Allah is saying to that soul that is mutma'inna. Allah says, Ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutma'inna, irji'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyah. Allah is saying to that soul, return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He is happy with you and He is pleased with you and you are pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the life of Anbiya alayhimus salam and in the stories of the Quran, there are many incidents which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made mention to teach us that when the soul gets the over level of this person, or overwhelming over this human being, it can instigate this human being very strongly towards the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I'll mention maybe 1 or 2 or 3 stories which are mentioned in the Quran to teach us how powerful this nafs and this carnal desire is from inside. Allah speaks about the 2 sons of Adam alayhi salam. He had 2 sons, Habil and Qabil. They were the 2 sons of Adam alayhi salam. And every time Hawa alayhi salam, she was pregnant, she had twins, 1 boy and 1 girl. And the system at that time was that the boy could not get married to his twin sister. He had to get married to a girl, a sister of his that was from another set, that was not in his pregnancy. But Qabil wanted to get married to his twin sister, which was against the command and the sharia of Adam alayhi salam. And Habil was going to get married to his sister, his twin that was born at the same time. Obviously it was his sister, but his twin that was with him. So he was not willing to do this. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in detail speaks about this in the Quran, that they had to offer a sacrifice. And Habil, who was a person that had animals, he reared a beautiful lamb and he presented it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Qabil, he was a farmer, he took some crops and he presented it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted the sacrifice of Habil and not the sacrifice of Qabil. So what happened now? And this was in love of a woman and in love of getting married to this girl. He could not tolerate it, he could not withstand it. And he went and took the drastic step and he told his brother, I will kill you. He said to his brother, لَأَقْتُلَنَّكَ, I will kill you. Allah has mentioned this in the Quran. And what provoked him? What made him come to this level? It was his nafs. فَطَوَّعَتْ لَهُ نَفْسُهُ قَتْلَ أَخِيهِ. And the Quran testifies that this nafs is of such a level, if this nafs is not protected, if this nafs is not looked after in the correct manner, this nafs has the potential and the possibility of going and killing a person's blood brother. This nafs needs to be protected. This nafs needs to be in the right direction. This nafs needs to be nurtured and it needs to be in the correct direction. The ulama have stated so much so with regards to this nafs that we have the requirement in Islam that we have to love Allah and we need to love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And these 2 loves, the love of Allah and the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is not possible if a person does not protect their nafs from the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person has to make an effort on their nafs. He has to retain their nafs and protect their nafs so that the nafs is nurtured in the correct manner, and the nafs can reach from nafs ammara, and which is the regular nafs of nafs lawwama, and from here go to the stage of becoming nafs mutma'inna in the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Likewise, there are many other incidents with regards to the nafs in the Quran which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spoken about, but it teaches us a lesson that this human being has the nafs inside him, and this nafs is provoking him. It is like a war that is taking place from inside on a daily basis at every moment, pushing him towards the disobedience of Allah. That's why the scholars famously say, if a person puts his foot on the nafs with one leg, his other leg is in Jannah, because he has to protect the nafs. The nafs will provoke him on many things. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.